Hi, I'm Jane. I love to garden. This might be my last bouquet of the season. We will see. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. But in this video, we're going to talk about rose propagation. And the beginning of the video, I will show you Kristin, her presentation from the Utah Rose Society party that we had at Terry's house. Thank you, Terry, for letting us use your yard, and it was so much fun. At the end of this video, I will be putting together my own cuttings that I got from there and put them in my propagation. And hopefully I will learn from Kristin and have better success. So come along.
So my method is a pretty standard method. It does work for me. There are a lot that you can find if you Google. I will say that certain things that they do, like in Texas, Georgia, Florida, do not necessarily work here. That includes some of the just leaving them outside, and so we'll talk about that. I'm going to cover just this basic pre-winter, late fall method of propagating. There is in the Facebook group under files a longer PowerPoint PDF that will also talk about how to take some spring cuttings and midsummer cuttings. So the first thing I wanted to mention are some of the items that you need to be successful. You do not have to have what I've got on my table, but you'll want some sort of a pot. This is just a drinking cup, a solo cup that I have drilled holes in the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and pass it around so you guys can see what it looks like. That actually came in a setup, this setup that I got on Amazon that has a humidity dome. Humidity is one of the 3 things you need when you're starting your cuttings. A lot of my cups have blown away in the wind, so I bought solo cups. They're about the same size that came with the cup. Highly recommend it. In fact, even larger ones will work. But you will need something to create humidity. It can be as simple as, let's say, this is the cup that you're using, or a pot that you grew your annuals in this summer. Tying a plastic bag with a rubber band over it is going to give you enough humidity. You can use a bucket, similar to this, a bin. And Terry's going to talk about this particular method, but I have some bins with some roses in them. I put the lid down flat, put my cuttings on the bin, and then the top, or this part, is my humidity dome. Lots and lots of different ways to do it. I will advise, though, that a clear cup, especially if you're a beginner, helps you to see when the roots develop. And they should develop somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks. There are some roses that really never are going to be successful for you. I have tried the peace roses, Chicago peace, and never have gotten one of those to take. Terry has a good suggestion about, if you're wondering if it will do well as an own root rose, these create own root roses when you propagate, is to go to some of the sites that sell own root roses. That would be like Heirloom. Who else, Terry?
Northland, High Country.
Yeah. And so that would let you know if you see it listed in their list, then that's a good one for you. The next thing that I recommend, moisture is important for your cuttings to be successful. It's also the downfall of most beginners. Too much moisture and you'll rot your rose cutting. Too little and it will dry out and the baby roots will stop growing on you. So I do recommend an inexpensive moisture meter. These are, I got this, everything I get on Amazon. And they're not necessarily totally accurate, but once you figure out for you what the markings mean, then it is accurate for you. On mine, I'm always striving for the soil to be right between it's dry and the first centerpiece is moist. I want to just barely cross that line of moist. For me and the soil that I'm using this year, that means I'm misting or lightly watering about every 3 days. But I have mine under grow lights, which generate a bit of heat even though they're LED grow lights. So that's helpful. you'll need a rooting compound of some sort. And there are various varieties and there are various strengths. A general rule is a strength of 0.1 to 0.3. My favorite is Clonix. I will not be sharing it because it's very expensive of all of them. It works the best for me, and I've done this for quite a while. I have used cheaper brands like Fertilome and kinds that you could get at Home Depot or Lowe's, and those will work as well. Most of those are powdered. This is a gel, and I like the gel a lot. So you'll need a rooting hormone. You can root cuttings without a rooting hormone. It will probably take longer, and before the roots start to develop, you run a risk every day of losing that rose. So probably an important thing to get. You'll want to mark and label all of your cuttings that you do. Trust me, it's so easy when you're doing a whole big batch of them to forget what you just did or the date. And the date is important because it kind of helps you track to see if the rose is progressing the way you think it would work or not. Sharp clippers, and I sharpen them with this little tool, this Corona tool, and I sharpen them between every cut when I cut them from the garden, and then also as I'm preparing individual cuttings for the pots. And it has a carbide edge. You just 3 times, you can tell when it drags, you're not sharp until you get a clean that's not dragging. I'm adamant about keeping everything sterile while you're doing this. Bacteria and fungus are going to be your nemesis that will kill your cuttings. So I usually lay out a paper towel when I'm doing cuttings, and you can see dirt on it. Obviously, I'm using these a lot. This is a Lysol-based one. I just wipe down my blade while I'm kind of waiting to do something else to let it sit for a bit. I also have this knife. This is a propagation knife that's used for grafting, but I love this knife, and I'll show you why. Earlier when I taught rose propagation, one of the things I would have you do is make a slip in the bottom of your cutting, usually with clippers, to help the rooting hormone get up into the rose better. And since then I found that shaving a little band off, it works a lot better. I'm sitting at about 98% success rate right now with about 122 roses that I've got propagating. I sell as well. So let's go ahead and talk about what we want to do. First off is a soil mix. There's a lot of different ways and different soils that you can use. I have found for the last 2 years this works really well for me. It is a blend of the Miracle-Gro, the moisture control. That's the blue bag. That's expensive. Try to get it when you can, when Costco has a sale.
It's cheap at Sam's in the spring.
Sam's does as well. So it holds the water like at a perfect level. I don't feel that you can risk overwatering as much using it or underwatering using it. Those are both items that can stop your propagation dead. I do mix it with so I use about 8 of this size cup of in a big mixing tray. I have a mortar mixing tray. I use about 8 cups of the Miracle-Gro, and then I add 1 to 2 cups of perlite, and then I add about half that much of coarse vermiculite. That's my mixture. I have been successful with seedling mix, which also is pretty good about holding in moisture. But if you find you get too much and your cuttings are rotting, especially if you've tried it before and not been successful, vermiculite, just coarse vermiculite, works really great. You can't overwater with it, it drains out. And after you water them, you set them on a tray, like a baker's rack to dry, or to let all the water out. You can't overwater using vermiculite. Similarly as coco coir, and then this, which is Academa soil, it's bonsai soil. Those are all really good if you've had issues with moisture before. I think the grow lights help, and I recommend grow lights for this time of the year because we're heading into when the roses are almost starting to go dormant. And with our weird weather, as soon as they go dormant, they're really, really hard to propagate. And we're right on the cusp of that right now. Also, our light is not as, from daylight to sunset as much as in the summer or even sometimes in the spring. So you can get inexpensive LED grow lights. There are some that just clip on a table and they have like these arms that kind of go over. There's floor models. But to be successful this time of year, I do recommend grow lights. I'm going to go ahead and pass this around. We'll start it over here somewhere. This is the soil mixture, but I want you just to kind of feel, you can kind of feel the moisture level in it. It's not soaking wet. And we want it to be so that if you squeeze it, it will hold the shape of your hand. But if you are squeezing and water drips out, you've got way too much water to start then. As soon as you figure out what that feels like for you, take a moisture reading with your meter, and then that's what you're going to strive for the whole rest of the season as you go. So I've got this rose right here. Somebody asked me coming in, what is a good stem to cut? This is a fairly decent size. I like them about this size or bigger. You can do smaller sizes. They are harder to propagate though because they don't take up the water as well or your rooting compound as well. What I'm looking for in one of these, and you'll see them especially in the summer, not as much this time of year, but in the little crotch between a leaflet and the stem, if there's a little pink, or it will start out green but not stay green very long, it stays red, that is called a bud eye. And a stem that has bud eyes in it, anywhere along that stem, has growth hormones in it, and that's what you're looking for. This one happens to have one down there. I also want for each cutting, and a lot of these that are long, you guys should be able to get 3 or 4 cuttings out of them. I'm going to want to cut horizontally at the bottom of the leaf node. This little leaf is tiny, but it's still a leaf node, and I'm going to peel it off. Don't cut it off. Cutting it off will leave a little bit that can rot, and you don't want that to happen. There's a second one here. And then I'm going to leave a third leaflet at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that one, the top off there, and just below that bottom one, I'm going to cut at a 45-degree angle and not cut into the leaf node. So that's about what your cutting looks like so far. Also, I don't want that many leaves. The leaves transpire moisture, but we don't have any roots yet to really take up moisture. It's just going to be our soil and how much is in there. So I'm actually going to bring this down a bit, and you'll kind of feel like, oh no. Probably even take that. That's about how much I want to leave. That's maybe a little bit even too much right there. But that's a good bit. And then if you notice, I cut the top at a diagonal as well. That's so if you've got moisture in your container, whatever you're using, bin, something like this, plastic, that the moisture will drain off and not rot the thing. Now what I want to do, I want to take that magic knife I told you that I love, and opposite the leaf node, which is right there, I'm actually going to cut a little bit better. I've put the high side where the leaf node is, and then opposite, I'm going to take my very sharp knife, and I'm just going to slice off, and you'll see it. I'm cutting the bark off and trying to get to a little bit of the pith, the white part in the middle. You probably can't see that really well. I will go ahead and pass this around. Let me take off a few thorns. I also take off thorns that are going to be under the soil level, but not those above. And you want them completely off. If you leave a little bit of thorn, it is also a place that can introduce bacteria. that high, and I was in a very cool room, maybe even a garage or a shed, I would probably use a heat mat. But check the moisture level frequently. This is what I use because I have so many to water them. I just pump it up and kind of do that.
That's what I use for my spider mite spray.
I have one for that too.
So, Kristin, you usually do the overhead heat all winter, but no bottom heat.
All winter, I do it for, I kind of had to laugh because it depends on what time I get up in the morning, but it's somewhere between 12 and 14 hours a day. And it doesn't matter, just so long as I don't drop below 12. And then I let him sleep just like they're used to. But I'm trying to mimic the summer sun because that's where the growth hormones keep on going. And if you were doing it in summer, you could actually put them outside. There's a lot of methods for that. Maybe we'll cover that in the summer. But in the winter, that's what I do.
So I'm back at home, and I'm going to try to propagate those roses that I got from the really fun party today. So come along, let's see if I can take some of her advice and improve what I've already done. So over here is what I'm going to use. I got this moisture control bag because I had a little bit of soil out of it for $3. Miracle Grow Moisture Control Potting Mix. And then I got some perlite. And this is a cool bin. I got that one from Home Depot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the propagations in there, put it upside down, so the yellow is going to go on the bottom. These are what I'm going to propagate into, is these clear cups. They're just a Kroger one. They came from Smith's. I'm going to make sure I clean these in between. She had a really cool solution, but I don't have time to make that right now. So I'm just going to use the Garden Safe Fungicide 3, Fungicide, Insecticide, Miticide. So I'm going to spray my cuttings down really well with those. All right, let me prepare all this. And then I'm going to take all my cuttings that I have, get rid of the rows and the top. Also, I'm going to use a Lysol spray on my clippers and the fungicide on all of my clippings. We interrupt this broadcast to show you the Thor.
Thor, say hi. Hello.
Such a cutie. Love you.
Hello there, fellow humans.
Hi, baby.
I am also a human.
I gotta take a note. Oh, we love you so much.
He's so cute.
It's a patient little pooper head.
Little.
So I had these at home, so I might use those with this container. And then I might use these with the bigger flat container. Oh, I could borrow that thing. Anyway, I think they need to be more contained so they're not just tipping over inside there. So what I'm going to do now is put holes in all the bottoms of all the cups, and then I'll start mixing the soil and perlite.
There's a cup that we can poke holes. There.
You gotta hold still while you do it. Don't get your hands, people. All right, I'm just gonna do that to all of them real fast. I know. Maybe there's an easier way that you're not gonna stab your hand.
Like you could use a drill sometimes.
Yeah, I don't have a drill.
But
Somewhere.
let's not.
There's a drill somewhere.
But today we're not going to use it. All
All right,
right.
yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go through all of these ones, the big ones.
Just a drill.
Yep, turn it off. I've rooted cuttings before. I'm trying to use some of her methods to see if I can make it even better.
This is the first time we've ever used this white stuff. I forgot what it's called already.
Perlite.
It's the first time we have ever used Pro-Light.
Okay, throw it in there.
And there goes that one. Alright, and now for the SMR part again.
Oh, you're such a goose.
And now it's done. It's done.
So here's some roses I have. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take off all the buds of this and the beautiful flower. Okay, so ooh, this is a bud right here that they were talking about. Can you guys see that bud right there? So I'm going to cut under that bud. That.
No.
Get in there. I'm going to cut it right there. Okay, so now I have 2 cuttings. So now what I'm going to do, I'm doing 2 at once here, but I'm going to cut all of this off, but a couple, and she said bend them, not cut them, so that's a good thing to change. Okay, now come look in here, Lindsay. This one doesn't have any thorns, but it does have a lot of buds. Can you see the bud right there?
The little bump.
Okay, hold still. Can you see that bud right there?
Well,
and then
I'm
another.
Trying to. It's hard.
So not a bud, but it's actually a leaflet. Anyway, okay.
Whatever you want to call it, like a bud or a leaflet.
Okay, now we're going to take these right here, and Lindsay wants to help because she's so cute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip off the green until you just see the white. And there's technical terms. I'll put them on the screen. We're going to get to that layer. I think the first layer is the cambium, and I can't remember what the second layer is. It's a really fancy word. Anyway, I'm going to strip that off real quick. And then Lindsay's going to put them in there. And guess what? I don't have any Clonex. I used it all up. So they're going to have to go without rooting hormone today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this little leaf bud here, and I'm just going to kind of strip. So
it's like you're peeling an orange.
Yeah, and there's several layers
Use a knife.
Okay, and then I'm going to let Lindsay do this part in just a minute. I don't have any rooting hormone, so I can't take that. This one's got a long one. Look how long that is.
And since we don't have any powder or spray, I think,
I'm just going to hope for the best.
let's just hope that works. And if we did have the powder, and if you do, make sure you use it, because that will help a lot.
Yep, your turn.
Anyways, let's switch.
Okay, I'll hold the cutting.
So
You make a hole in the middle. And she was only doing 1 per cup.
And then
All right, put it down. She was only doing 1 per cup.
I can't.
Okay, we're going to stick that in there, and then we're going to go all the way down to the cup, and then we're going to squeeze it in. And you could put it with that. Okay, can you do the next one? Right here?
Okay. I just push, drill it back up. Let me just,
You're going to drill it? Good job.
and then just push. Then I'll just take that. And then, like, slide
Oh, that's a smart idea. All the way down.
Instead, so it makes it faster and easier.
Then you're going to take the same thing. Do you want to push it back in? Push.
Push, push, push.
Push against it pretty good. Like that.
Then push, push, push.
Yeah, and those 2 will put your name on it, okay? So I
Yay!
have a garden marker. We're going to label what we did with these, and we're going to put Lindsay's name on it. This yellow part is going to go on the ground, And this part is going to be my greenhouse. I'm just gonna put it over there for a second. This guy is gonna go all the way to the window. It's a big window like that. And then my first one is gonna go in the corner over here. Okay, and then like I said, let's see if I can do this with one hand. If not, I'll have to have someone help me record it. This is a heavy duty one from Home Depot. I've never gotten the really, really good ones like this. Like that. Isn't that cool? This is gonna be really fun. So now I'm gonna work on some more cuttings. I might double up cuttings in a cup because I don't think I'm gonna fit all of that, but we'll see. Gotta make sure all these have holes in the bottom. Mixing perlite. And then I'm gonna grab, there we go, with one hand. Some more of that. 3-to-1 ratio, maybe? Let's see. And then you can go get some water. Mix it all in. Go get some water. One thing I forgot to mention was the fungicide. So how am I going to spray this? I'll put it over here. I was doing it with one hand, with both hands, and it was a little bit easier, but I'm just going to spray the heck out of that. And I sprayed it both sides. Okay, then I have this one little spot. I decided to do 3 in 1 for some of these big cups. Spray Lysol between every rose. So here's a beautiful cutting. I'm going to strip off the bottom leaves. All of these leaves are going to be stripped off plus this. Then I have to make sure I get every thorn. These ones have pretty little thorns. And then I'm going to reduce all the way down to 1. And then I'm going to come in here. I've got a little swollen part right there. Can you see that swollen part right there? I'm going to go from here down and kind of expose some of that. If I had rooting hormone, I'd use it, but I'm kind of bummed I don't have it. Then I'm going to take my fungicide and I'm going to spray the whole cutting with fungicide. Okay. Then I'm going to come over to this cup over here. I have 2 in there already, but I'm going to do a 3rd one. I'm going to make a hole for them, push them all the way down, and then I'm going to take, and now I have 3 and I'm going to label it. So I got this much done, and it's dark outside, and I have lots more space over here to propagate my own roses in my yard. So then, let's see if I can click it in there without, I'm loving the quality of this one. It's so nice. Okay, let's see if we get some humidity on it tomorrow. I found my moisture meter and soil thermometer. This is the first time I've ever used it, so we're gonna try it. So I've got a low, a dry, and then this side is the pH. Okay, so now that I kind of know what that's about, let's see what it reads. All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna try to see if I can figure this out. Is it moving at all? 73. Soil temp. And then it says wet plus. Low. Wet plus. Okay. That's what that says. Let's try this one. Squish it way in there. Let's see if it reads any different. 69, because it was closer to the window. And then wet plus. Okay. My husband and my son helped me rig the lights. The moisture meter is going to help me so much to figure out the different temperatures that I need. I think this is going to work. Yay! Thank you, Kristin, for your awesome presentation. Check back and we'll see how these guys do.
There, folks, put that one there. So, SMR, ready?
Are you going to use your hands to mix it, or are you going to use the shovel?
Hands.
Hands.
Better.
Yeah.
Hands makes it more easier for me. Plus, it makes it more fun. You can't learn without being messy.
For sure.
I think we might need more water.
My little garden girl, huh?
I think we might need more water.
Yeah, this side over here is super dry.
Okay, just dry it. Not dry it. Like, smoothing it out. Sarannya, the Michiwa.